Hi everyone, hope you're doing good. I'm thrilled to welcome each and every one of you to the IBM Z Event personal branding session. Today is a special day where I have invited Sugam for taking the speaker role for this session. It's an honor to have such a diverse and enthusiastic group gathered here. Events like these are not just about coming together, they are about sharing ideas, building connections, and creating memorable experiences. So let's embark on this journey together, open our minds to new possibilities, and make the most of the time we have. Sugam, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience and tell us more about your journey, background, and current role.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Rituraj. So, hello everybody. My name is Sugam Kafle, and I am currently working as a mainframe analyst at the Bank of America. I recently finished my bachelor's in business computer information systems from the University of North Texas. Originally, I'm from Nepal, and I have been in the United States for 6 years now. And I was also an IBM Z Systems ambassador, and that is how we got introduced to each other, Rituraj and I. And the ambassador experience has been a very big turning point in, I'm sure Rituraj can agree as well, in both of our lives. And events like these have definitely helped us in the past. And what I hope to do today is to be able to share that knowledge that we received before so that you guys can also kick off your journeys into personal branding, into a professional career. So let me see if I can share my screen. And I'll start off with the presentation. All right. Can you see the screen, Rituraj?
Yeah, it's visible.
Right now?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Great. All right. So what I decided I can do is, because personal branding is a huge topic, right? There are so many elements to personal branding, creating your brand. I wanted to boil it down to 4 simple steps that you guys can follow. And you will look at the steps as I will progress through the slides and see if what I want to provide you is steps that you can take. It is not going to be abstract conceptual steps. It is going to be very practical steps that you can take. And let's see if we can work this out together. All right. So 6 seconds is the average time that a recruiter spends looking at a resume. A resume, generally, we prefer it to be 1 page long. But in 6 seconds, they have already made the decision whether or not they are going to offer you the internship, the interview, or even the position. So our job is much harder as students because you have to already stand out amongst thousands of students. And on top of that, you only have this 6 to 8 seconds time frame to make an impact and make an impression on your hiring managers, on the recruiters, on any professional you are in a conversation with. So how is this possible? This almost sounds unfair. But there is a way, and the way is personal branding, because when you have an established personal brand, you are able to stand out amongst your peers. You are able to portray that on your resume and make that impression, make that impact. So the 4 steps that I want to suggest to building your personal brand is very simple. You can write it down, engrave it in your minds. It's align, define, invest, and brand. Very simple. Align, define, invest, and brand. So the first thing you want to do is align. Align your skill set with your goals. And at any point, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask any questions. Align your skill set with your goals. A lot of time, what I've noticed, and I can give you a personal example as well, Students are doing one thing, but their goal is different, right? Some of us are good at coding, programming, let's say languages like Python, Java, but our goals are not being aligned with them. Say you want to go into machine learning, you want to go into artificial intelligence because now it's all the rage. Everybody's talking about AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, right? But if you are a Java developer, then your skill sets as a Java programmer is not kind of aligning with your goal as becoming a, for example, machine learning engineer. And you guys might be familiar, for machine learning, predominantly Python or the programming language R is utilized. And you need to have deep mathematical knowledge, knowledge of probability, statistics in that area as well. So your chances of becoming a machine learning engineer when you have skill sets in Java, not very likely, right? I can give you another example. What if you want to become an entrepreneur? You want to start your own business. You want to start your consulting firm. You want to be part of a startup, but then you are taking all these coding classes and these programming classes, but you don't have the business knowledge. So if you do not have a business knowledge, then how are you going to start a business, right? So that is what I mean by aligning your skill set with your goals. And this is not just limited to tech or IT. It is related to any field that you want to push yourself towards. If you want to brand yourself, you need to first understand what your skill sets are, then align them with your goals. Now, I want to offer some practical methods to do this. Firstly, research your industry. Like I said, me back then when I was in school, I wanted to get into AI. And I even spoke to Rituraj about this. And because he was doing some projects and research related to I became part of this project. And then I realized I don't know Python. I don't like working on Google Colab. I don't want to work with GitHub repositories. Those were not my skill sets. My skill was more inclined towards business. So I chose not to go the AI route. So you need to research the industry and understand what are the skill sets required to succeed in that industry. Then your second step is gain hands-on experience. The only way to understand if you're good at something, if you will like it, is to do it, right? If you start doing it, then you'll notice this is where I'm good at, this is not where I'm good at. Maybe this should not be my skill set. Maybe this is something I should focus on. So gain that hands-on experience, work on projects, work on your, it doesn't even have to be school assignments. It doesn't have to be very extravagant projects. Simple stuff. You want to try something with an instructor on YouTube. You want to take some courses on Coursera or the learning platforms. Then that will give you enough hands-on experience to understand if this industry is really for you and whatever that may be. Then seek expert advice. There are so many professionals willing to help you, who want to see you succeed. Once you start talking to them, they will give you that, they will fill in the gaps between your skills and knowledge. Then build your necessary skill set. Now you know you want to become a programmer and you are starting to learn coding languages. So now start building those skill sets, right? Take those courses, get your practice, and once you have your skill sets, your goal starts becoming clearer. You start understanding, okay, this is what I want to do, and that you are on a good track. All right, so the next step after aligning is define. Now that you have your skill set and your goal, bring them together and create your brand statement. Your brand statement is very simply your skill set plus your goal. So me being a business information systems major, I knew that my major does not involve a lot of programming, a lot of coding. It is not highly technical. It has some parts of IT, some parts of business. So what I did was I tried to develop those business skills along with those IT skills, right? And aligning myself to those skill sets, my goal was to become, let's say, a business development associate, something related to business and IT. And when you bring it together, that becomes my brand statement. I am a business computer information systems major who has foundational knowledge in computer programming and business skills. I want to become a business development associate, or I want to land a position as a business development associate. So that is my brand statement. You can see it is this simple. You can take this statement and present it to anybody, and it will establish your credibility. They will understand that you are coming from a place of knowledge and experience, that you have thought your goals out clearly. Professionals love that you have a clear, set, defined goal. I'll give you another example. And because I spoke to Rituraj, he mentioned that a lot of you are computer science students. So let's say you aligned your goal. You know what you want to do, you know what your skill sets are. Now you want to start creating your personal branding statement. I am a second year computer science student with a foundational skill set. Why do I underline foundational? Because it is necessary to be specific. So that, because as a second year student, you might not have the expert knowledge in programming. So foundational skill set in C++ and Java, very common programming languages for computer science students, looking to gain, what are your goals? Looking to gain real world experience through an internship as a programmer or software engineer. See, if this brand statement here included machine learning engineer, I would be kind of suspicious, because you have C++ and Java in your portfolio. You don't have Python, you don't have the necessary mathematics knowledge, you don't have the probability knowledge. Then how are you going to become a machine learning engineer? That would be my question. Maybe you have those skills, but you fail to mention them. This is why the personal brand statement is so important. And you need to sharpen it, polish it, and keep telling that to yourself. Repeat that so much that it becomes natural to you, so that you don't have to memorize it anymore, and it comes up naturally. Now that is your brand statement. You have your skill sets, you have your goals, you have aligned them. Next step is to define your brand statement. And pretty much at this step, you already have your personal brand. Like I said, this is your personal brand. Being a second year computer science student who wants to become a programmer. This is virtually enough. But the third step is where students fall short. They stop building their personal brand. The third step is to invest. Align, define, invest. Now you need to start investing time and resources into your statement. Now, why do I underline or highlight time and resources? Because we all understand we don't have the same privileges, right? Not everybody has the same privileges. We might differ in terms of the resources that we have, the time that we have. As students, you have limited time, right? Because you are working on assignments, projects, you are part of clubs, and you might be working part-time. You might be trying to get those skill sets. You are trying to take lessons, courses, tuition classes, extracurriculars. As student, it is already difficult, but you have to choose. You have to pick and choose what activities are the most important for you, so that you can borrow those time, the resources that you're investing in them, and bring it into your statement. Because your personal brand, to become a professional, is the most important thing. So you need to direct all that time and resources into the statement. Now, these are some ways that I can offer that I have personally tried and have been able to succeed to create a brand. Your LinkedIn profile. I can already say, I'm sure we all have Instagrams, we all have Facebooks, and now there are even newer social media apps coming out. And if we only spend half the time that we spend on Instagram, watching Reels, watching TikTok, I know TikTok has been banned in a lot of countries. If we just take half the time and put it into our LinkedIn, you will start noticing that people are texting you. People are in your DMs asking you, who are you? What do you want to study? And if you are looking for a job, LinkedIn is that powerful, but people don't realize it because we are not investing time on our LinkedIn profiles. So working on your resumes, right? Even attending this session right now is something that you guys are actively doing. You are investing in your personal brand. You are trying to get the necessary knowledge from people who have more experience. Creating your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is your personal brand statement, right? That you can use to introduce yourself, to talk about who you are, what you want to do in the future, and what you're looking for them, and networking. And Rituraj and I can both attest to the fact that networking is one of the most important piece of the puzzle for any professional, for any industry, for any career area. Because if you are not talking to the people inside your industry, then you are being excluded out of the conversation. You need to be part of the conversation. You need to show up. You need to present yourself and start making those connections. And one thing I want to say about networking is that it is not about favoritism, right? It is not that, hey, Sugam, we connected on LinkedIn. Can you help me get a job? That is not networking. Networking means building a relationship. And building something, it takes time, right? It's a gradual process. You start putting in time to build those relationships, and in the future you help each other. You help each other grow. It is not about favoritism. It is not about getting jobs from referrals. It is about building meaningful and deep relationships with people who are in the same industry. So at this point, you have aligned your skill set and your goals. You have defined your brand statement, and now you are investing time and resources into building the brand. Next, what you want to do is pretty simple. This is where you already have a brand. Now, you just let your brand build. It will build by itself. You will start noticing engagement in your LinkedIn profiles. You will start noticing that you are networking with a lot of people. You might find yourself working on different projects. Now you essentially have a personal brand, and all you really have to do is keep maintaining it. Because with your LinkedIn, you will start noticing the engagement has fallen down. With your resume, you will notice that there are past experiences there. A lot of times what I notice is during the hiring season, people start talking about resume, and people reach out to me and they say, hey, can you review my resume? And I'm there thinking, why weren't you doing this before? Right? Because if you were taking the time and resources to look at your resume almost every month, I'm sure we do something new every month. You have a new project coming up, you have a new assignment coming up, you can put that on your resume. So branding, the last step, brand, is a gradual process, and it is, simply put, it is polishing and maintaining your personal brand. These are some examples that I want to offer you that have worked for me. Your email signature. We might all have a signature, right? We have to sign documents. That is a personal statement of who you are. That's your identity, right? Whenever you email to people, choose your words carefully. make sure you are proofreading your emails. Make sure you are using every word correctly, because that might be the make it or break it moment for many recruiters, for many hiring managers. People can be put off by a simple spelling error because because they realize that you did not put enough time to even check your own emails. Your LinkedIn profiles, the LinkedIn headers, that can be the defining moment for you to get a job. In my LinkedIn profile, I say I can help you improve your resume. I have gotten so many cold messages that they want me to review their resumes. And this is something I want to include in my personal brand, right? Which is why I put it as a header. Business cards are another one of the ways to do that. As students, we think, hey, business cards, we are not professionals. What will we even put there? Just say you're a student. Because in career fairs, while applying to positions, your resumes might be rejected, but your business cards, people will always hold on to them. They will always save them because that is your personal identity. Creating a website, creating those GitHub repositories, or maybe you want to create content. You want to do tutorial videos and put them on Instagram, you want to put them on LinkedIn. Those are also great ways of building a personal brand. In fact, right now we call our economy a creator economy because content is very valuable. Just recording a 5-minute video of yourself and explaining who you are, what you want, is so much more powerful than going out there and applying to jobs, applying to positions. Having that said, it is a mix of all of these things, right? There's no one way to build your personal brand. I want to in closing, I want to talk about what Jeff Bezos said. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. This is very important because even for let's say you are working on an application and you have gone through the entire SDLC process and now it's in the hands of the customer. Once your application is on the hands of the customer, how are you going to control it? You don't know what they are going to talk about it, right? So as early professionals, you don't want to take that risk. You don't want to apply and then be anxious about, hey, whether am I going to get the call? Am I going to get the job? What you want to do is control your personal brand beforehand. Make sure that you are the one controlling your brand and not other people. Finally, as a review, align, define, invest, brand. Take notes, put it in your mind, write it down somewhere. It can be as simple as these 4 steps: aligning your skill sets and your goals, defining your brand statement based on those skill sets and goals, investing time and resources on your brand statement, and then finally, continually and consistently building and maintaining your brand. And you will start noticing. I would say 3 months. 3 months is a short time, and in 3 months you will start noticing that you are getting a lot of engagement, you are getting to know a lot of people, you are starting to network if you are taking carefully measured steps and investing those resources into building a personal brand. All right, now I will open it up to questions. I do have another presentation for resumes, but let's see if we have enough time for that. And for now, I will open it up for questions. I see some familiar faces. Hey, Eugene. Concerns, comments, anything. Don't leave me hanging, guys.
So I would like to add some of the things which I think is quite important. When we talk about personal brand, why it was so much essential for me or any student out there to focus on personal brand is what I have seen from my experiences. A lot of college folks are focusing more on technical skills. Maybe they are learning a lot of coding stuff. But the thing is, actually you're learning these languages and all, but over the time you are forgetting a lot of maybe syntax because you have to switch a lot of things. Maybe in the first semester you're learning Python, in the next semester you would be learning Java. Similarly it goes on, so you are learning different things at different moments in your college life. So a lot of people never focus or give time to these things like establishing their brand and showcasing what they know actually to the audience. And here the audience could be your fellow students, your maybe recruiters in the industry you are aiming for. Maybe you are a machine learning engineer, you want to become one. Like I've seen a lot of people showcasing on their resume that they are aspiring mainframe or a machine learning engineer, which is not a correct term. Never mention aspiring. Either it's better to just write your student or you know something. So just like I'm a full stack developer, if you're not a developer, so never mention like aspiring. Word is not that encouraging for the recruiters. And personal brand lets you get those opportunity which 99% of the other people would not be getting. It's just about you're investing some of the time which 99% of the people never invested at first time. Like you are just dependent on your placement cell. So in universities there are thousands of students, and what's that one thing which differentiates you? Even in the cases I've seen, people never sit for placements. They don't need a placement, they don't need a career fair. They get the job opportunities from the companies. So if you are really interested in building that kind of a brand, you it takes time and effort and constantly learning. It's not like we are thinking I made an app and that's over, I know Java. You are creating an app, that's one thing, but Java is not something which you can learn in one lifetime. It will take lifetimes to master it because we are not the founders and creators of those languages, and then we have so many languages. So the thing is, everyone in your college or your class itself would be knowing about Python, Java. What's that? What do you say? The differentiator for you, whether it's
Mm.
about your communication skills, because most of the people would not be able to speak in front of maybe 10 people. I'm not saying 100 people, just 10 people. It's really hard to be that person who is willingly going there on stage and presenting something. That's one of the differentiation you are creating. Then having the networking experience, one of the things which I saw in the recent IBM conference, like people are there, we met Medis Towell, and even I know South African guys, they also met Medits in one of the events. So the thing is, it doesn't matter whether she is a vice president of a company like IBM or any other company, or whether we met someone from Wipro, Accenture, Cognizant. Never, never mind. If you have the similar goals, like who would believe that we were discussing about content creation, we're discussing about Instagram, YouTube, and all these things with someone who is tech. We think like she's vice president of a technical company, so she would not be interested in that, but that's not the case. People do watch these kind of videos, entertainment on YouTube. So it's just like if you have a common ground, like we discussed about the mainframe education in India, how we are encouraging these, and she have different plans for Asia Pacific, United States. So these kind of things you can talk. So you can't talk about your university stuff. You can't say like I did this project in front of a vice president or in front of any kind of executive, maybe STSM from IBM. So all these managers would not ask you to tell them about your experiences in university, but more about the professional experience and what you can bring to the company. It's not about I did this, I made this project, but did your project made a difference? I am saying I made this application, but for what? I have seen a lot of people going to hackathons. That is kind of effective, but to be frank, in a real world scenario, no great idea can be implemented in 24 hours and a 1 week time. It takes years or maybe months to build these kind of application which are scalable, which generate traffic, and we have people using them right out of the box. Like we have Zomato and Swiggy in India, then we have Uber from United States, and it's around the world. people are using it because it solves the problem. So if you are solving a problem for a company, like you are a person, in my personal brand, I am solving a problem for, let's say, IBM. They have the mainstream education problem around the globe, and if we can be the pioneers, the first people to just showcase what mainframe has to offer to students, or not just the mainframe, the whole enterprise world, and we can just say that modern mainframes are one of the best platform to invest in, and a lot of CIOs and CTOs are investing in these kind of platforms, and it's a newer opportunity for us to learn, then people would be going there. And in that case, I will be establishing my brand as a person in the eyes of company. Like here we have IBM, we can have some other company. One of the things which I learned is, in the recent conference we met a lot of people from Capgemini, Accenture, and the thing is, all these GSIs, the global systems integrators, were focused on having the next generation of mainframe workforce. And someone was telling about, okay, we are training COBOL programmers in India. So they are doing it in quite a old fashioned way. Once a person is graduating from a college with some degree in IT, then he or she is getting the opportunity to work for this company, but with a additional training period, maybe 3 to 5 months, and after that they start working. So it's kind of a graduate technical intern kind of a role. And in those periods we have seen people learning those skills and then joining the workforce. And for in our community we have one of the examples, Tizo Senosha. He is, and he will be an IBMer soon. So he was a graduate technical intern. He never had a hands-on experience on a mainframe in physical aspect, not the Z Explore one, like how to IPL a mainframe, initial program load, or maybe how to detach some components and add PCIe slots in a real mainframe in real time. That's something is kind of a physical technical knowledge which you can't learn by sitting in front of a laptop. So what IBM did, he already had that kind of a brand in the past, that I am a mainframer, I have learned all these things. I have IBM Z skills, and I have been into some of the events and IBM initiatives. So what I want now, what IBM wants is just teach him the remaining stuff. What is the remaining part which is missing in his personal brand? The professional experience of working with a mainframe, and mostly with the hardware aspect of it, because we never get the idea of how to work with these kind of systems if we are presented these kind of system in our home. Maybe we have our laptops, desktops in home, so we are using it on a day-to-day basis, but on a mainframe we don't have an Windows operating system. In the initial level we have a system, let's say architecture sheet X390X. So there we have a terminal window 3270, which is still used as an emulator. So from there, how to use that ISPF, the time sharing option, then we have the ISPF within it, and then how to manage files, check out databases, and create new applications, add new configurations for the mainframe. All these things are really important. It's just about people are more focused on training the new workforce, and mainframe is having a career path which is offering almost what any other field would be giving. So it's not like you are losing on something. It's like you are fairly compensated. You have a really, what do you say, great career if you are having that kind of experience. I have seen people from India and South Africa and even United States. So from in terms of India, we have seen people from India after 6 to 8 years of experience moving to Poland, Switzerland, and these European countries where the mainframe requirement is there, the need for mainframe talent. So it's like you have that kind of an opportunity where you can just relocate yourself and get a whole new experience within your career. So in other cases, if you are a software engineer, you'll be stuck at that position for most of the time in your whole career. But in mainframe industry, it just depends on some of the initial experience which you have. Maybe from 4 to 5 years, 10 years, that's enough to get a job abroad. Sogam, anything you want to add, or your experiences as a
Yeah.
mainframe analyst?
Yeah, there were a couple things that stood out to me when you were talking about Meredith Stowell and talking to executives, talking to people. In the end, they're also human. right? They're also like us. They also have preferences. And it's not necessary that we always have to talk to them about projects and assignments. It's about making that connection, right? And Rituraj was able to connect about YouTube and content creation and mainframe education in India. It might look different for me. I might I might talk about where I'm from, or Texas, or United States, things like that. So that is where the personal skills comes in handy. And in terms of the mainframe industry, I personally have been in this like for 2 years, I guess. We have been ambassadors for 2 years. I know a lot of our executive people, the CEOs, CFOs, whoever are overseeing these industries, they are retiring, which is why there's such a big push for mainframe education. And like Rituraj said, in the 6 to 8 years of experience, you will be able to move up positions, you will be able to relocate and kind of take control of your own career in mainframe, which is why I am here. Of course, as students, we want to be where you want to work in the industry you're interested in. You want to make sure that you enjoy your work, right? For me, this is the perfect place to step in. This is the perfect place to start my career. And it is, like we all know, there is job security. It is not like engineer positions where you are hearing about massive layoffs, because software engineers and developers, they have limited life cycles. And you might have heard about Google and Amazon, the FANG companies, right? Facebook, Amazon, Google. These companies, they want to hire students with massive packages. They want to give them a lot of money, high salaries, but then they're not going to do that year over year. You're probably going to be let go in 2 years, because that is how the industry is turning out nowadays. Before, 5 years ago, we used to say, even amongst our peers, we used to say IT has a lot of scope. IT has a lot of scope. Everything is about technical knowledge. And in the 5 years, the market has been so saturated that IT is no longer the scope. And if you look back, go 50 years back, this is the case. Technical skills are always overrun by new technical innovations, right? But one thing is always constant: the business skills, the interpersonal communication skills, your personal brand. These things are always constant. They never change. Even so, you might know there are public speakers and communication experts who train CEOs how to give presentations. Why do you need to train a CEO, right? Because even at that position, communication skills is important. Talking to people. How do you take care of this entire organization? Those things have always remained constant. And especially with mainframe, because it is enterprise computing, you cannot fall short in both skills. You need both skills to succeed in the mainframe industry. That would be what I wanted to add on to Rituraj. So do
So we
you,
have a question from Arman. So he's asking, is it a good idea to buy a personal domain to get more professional image while sharing email? Can you see that?
yes. Hold on, let me see the questions. Is it in the chat box?
A Q&A session. Like there's a Q&A section.
I did see it pop up a while ago.
You can go to activities, then Q&A, and there you can see that.
Activities, Q&A. Okay. Personal domain to get a more professional image while sharing my email. Yes, absolutely yes. I personally have wanted to do this, create a website and, purchase a domain, have it be very professional. But I don't know, for now, since I'm working, my focus has been shifted towards like trying to understand like work and trying to succeed there. But this is a great idea, because for if you're talking to someone and you want to share them your profiles, your website can have a very big impact, right? Just saying I have a LinkedIn profile and I have a website is very different. And if you have that time to maintain it, if you have the resources to put into it, then definitely I would say go ahead.
So my question was not regarding my website. It was more regarding my like custom domain email address, like @armanbatra.com.
Yes, now I kind of got it when you said when I reread the question, the personal domain part, like you would say something like arman.com, right?
Yeah.
At Gmail's. That is also a very good question. That is, if you can, if you have a personal brand, right there, you don't. It is not important, I would say, right now because you are
Okay.
still working. You are a student, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'm a third year student in BIT.
Third year. Great. So once you have that brand, right? Once you start applying to industries, you might have a few projects under your arm and you have a lot of projects to showcase. Then that might be a good time where you want to start creating those personal domains and showcasing that, hey, this is not just I do this and this is my identity, right?
Okay.
And if you want to, of course, like at any point in time, you can always have a personal profile, a personal portfolio. A lot of
Yeah.
people, professionals, what they do is they might be involved in IT, but they are also involved in other activities like music, hiking, trekking, traveling, and they will collect everything and put it on their personal profiles. That might make
Okay.
even better impact. That is also a great idea.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Eugene, go ahead.
Yeah, very informative session. And from what I'm taking from this is that it's an iterative process where you have to keep on improving and, maintaining that alignment. But then when it works in your favor and you get called in for an interview, how do you stand out against other shortlisted people? Do you have to brag or, some tips on that?
I would say if you are being called for an interview, your chances are already high because you are one of the shortlisted candidates based on a resume. Now you need to make that impression that you are there, you want to show up, you want to work for the company and reassure them, right? Because you've already made that impression through your resume, through your profile. Now you want to kind of hit the hammer with the nail, right? Or hit the nail on the coffin, the last nail on the coffin, sorry. So number one thing is communication. Where students fall short is, like we discussed, having an amazing technical resume, but then not being able to talk about it. Communication skills, once they realize that you are able to communicate clearly, you are already standing out. Then you want to think about how your value, you want to think about what value can you bring to the company. And it doesn't have to be something related to the business. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have this 5-year plan for your organization that I can help you grow more profit, grow more sales. It doesn't have to be that detailed. You need to make them understand that this is the kind of person I am. Let's say you are a problem solver and you have worked on many projects and there have been mishaps, there have been mishappenings in the project, and this is how you fix them. That can be something that you can offer to them. So the interaction might look something like, you get interview questions like, tell us a time when something went wrong and what did you do to fix them? Very common question in interviews. Tell us a time when you were working on a project and things didn't turn out that the way you expected. What did you do? How did you react? That is a very common interview question. I've got that at least in 3 different interviews. That is your opportunity, right? To say, this is my value, this is my example, right? I am a problem solver. This is what happened during the project, and this is how I solved it. Now they understand that you are not just technically skilled, you are also quick on your feet. You can think about an answer during an interview. They saw that you came up with a solution in a project. So it all comes together, right? Interviews will tell you that it is a holistic process. It is never a make or break. Like, you can't go wrong with one sentence. It is always a holistic process in getting hired. So communication skills, showing your value, and then finally, I would say connection. And what I mean by connection is interpersonal connection, right? Because, like I said, recruiters, they are human too. I remember one of the students in my university I used to mentor. They had a career fair going on, and she was very anxious. Like, "Oh, I want to get an internship. I want to review my resume, and can you give me some interview tips, how to talk to recruiters?" And what she did when she went to the career fair was, the because the career fair, like, it's been hours they're there, right? They have been standing for hours, and they have been talking to literally hundreds of students. They also get tired, right? So the first thing she said was, "Oh, you look tired. How is your day?" And they just brightened up. This is how she, reset that, recounted that story to me, that they just had a big smile on their face, and they were bright, and they were like, "Yeah, it's been tiring. I've been here, for 3 hours, and but so how are you?" That personal connection is very important to maintain, because that shows that you are honest, that you are not there just for the position, right? Because you can train yourself, you can train the answers, you can memorize the answers and go give an awesome answer to every single question in the interview. But that personal connection, you cannot create an artificial connection. You have to be genuine, bring your most genuine self, and just be honest. And sometimes it might not work in your favor. Sometimes you might realize that, hey, I am being my most genuine self, and still this person is not willing to, connect with you. Then maybe that's not a good job fit for you. So things can go both ways, but being your most genuine. So communication skills, bringing in your value, and just honesty.
Thank you.
So here we need to consider one thing. Like, I got a really good advice from an IBMer in India. Like, he told, "Hey Raj, we all would be doing something in the next 5 to 10 years. We all do some kind of job. But the thing is, you don't have to take a lot of pressure. Like, okay, I'm not getting this opportunity. It's not in your hand. Sometimes it's not in your favor. But the thing which you can do is doing your best, not thinking too much about the outcomes, because a lot of people are like, okay, I want Google is my dream company. I want to work at Google. But for 10% of people, maybe they are getting into Google, and by seeing them we think like, okay, I can do it. I just learn this and I will be able to crack the interview. But that doesn't happen. There are people who are rejected by Google but accepted by Microsoft, or maybe accepted by Amazon, or maybe any other startup. So it's not like, sometimes career is like they are choosing you, so you don't have the choice. If you are having some certain skills, you can't say, I want to work for Nvidia. I have that GPU kind of knowledge. I know about hardware acceleration, how this chip making process is looks like, so I can work for Nvidia. It never happens like that. It's just about opportunities will be in front of you. You try your best. If it's in your favor, that's well and good. If it's not, then maybe something better is in your way.
Mm-hmm.
You never say like someone got the job, so you are saying, okay, he is doing job, I'm not getting a chance. You may be getting a better chance if you continue that progress. If you think like, okay, there's no hope for me, and you start something else, then the chances you could have created would be zero. If like, you have to do a career change in those cases where you are not satisfied and you have worked for around 4 to 5 years. Just not like I have tried something, I did some internships, it didn't work well, and now I'm trying something else. First I was trying about becoming a machine learning engineer. Now I am discussing with people like how to be full stack developers. Like, we think there's the money, money is everywhere. I have seen people in India and abroad who are making careers in cybersecurity, which is really tough just because the jobs are there, but people are not that skilled in terms of they don't have the required pen test certification and all these certification from IBM and CompTIA plus. So these certifications take time and effort and really hard to crack. And if you're investing your time and money in completing these kind of certifications, there is a high chance. Even one of the professors at my university mentioned that if you have this certain kind of this cybersecurity certification from EC Council, you're already really in a good place to get a job, because very few people manage to crack that EC Council's cybersecurity engineer kind of certification. So if you are passing that, well and good. Now from there, you can continue learning and you already have that thing. Okay, so from there, 2 to 3 years from there, you can use that everywhere you apply. Mostly people who are hiring for these kind of roles would be seeing that you are a cybersecurity certified professional, and from something like EC Council or maybe from IBM, it's really good.
Yeah.
If you have any other doubts, you can just reach out to Sugam. That's one of the best advice I can give to anyone here, because there's so many questions we have and we want to discuss all these things personally. So it's always better to connect with people on LinkedIn and send them the request like, okay, like recently someone was asking to me about the IBM Champions program. So I really helped that guy. It never matters whether you are working in industry or whether I am doing this or that. He wants some help. If I can help him, I will do that. And that's how the things work, and that's how you build connections. It's not about, hey, give me a job. Like even in my case, I have tried asking people about if there is an open opportunity for me to fit in. But the problem is, obviously, after recession and the global recession, there are very limited roles in companies. So it's really hard to give an intern role. Maybe we can get an technical intern role after completing our graduation, just after that. But really getting that summer internship or a winter internship is really hard at this moment. Around the world, I think not just India or US, it's around the world. I've seen people not getting part-time jobs in Canada, US. So it's same. But this will not be forever. In 2 to 3 years, it will all be set for a newer and better economy. We are really getting that pace up. Whether you talk about America, who's already a superpower, we have India with rising GDP. So we have that thing. So before we officially conclude today's session, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to Sugam for taking this session. To our attendees, I think thank you for being with us today. I appreciate your active participation and engagement. Until we meet again, take care, stay connected, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.